The Union of Minority Neighborhoods and the Boston City Council will mark Black History Month this year by honoring Black teachers. To tell us about the event, our community organizer for UMN, David Corby, and an educator with the Boston Public Schools for 26 years, who's currently part of UMN's busing desegregation project, Sherry Brooks Roberts. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
I want to start with David about this theme of celebration. Why this time and this topic?
Well, in Boston, we don't really celebrate our own in terms of Black teachers or anything, I guess, pertaining to Black people. And I think especially for this time when teachers across the country are so devalued, it's really important that we showcase and honor our own teachers in the public schools. And it's very paramount right now because education, I think the United States is like 30 something in the world. So it's very important that we honor our own teachers and that we show them that it's important to have them because it's very important for not only any child, but Black children.
Sherry Brooks Roberts, you started at this historic moment, the first year of busing desegregation in Boston in 1974. Not only that, but you transitioned to the Boston Public Schools from a freedom school. So it was a whole different kind of chemistry that you had to adapt to.
Quite different. The school that I first taught in was the Highland Park Free School in 1973. And it was a part of a federation of 5 schools developed by community leaders and parents. And it was Afrocentric in curriculum and in focus. And then I went right into Boston Public Schools, and in that tumultuous time during desegregation. So yes, it was totally different.
And the school you were at in Boston?
In South Boston, I was at the Perry School. It was over scenic view. I mean, there were some ocean view classrooms there. But when I first went, I was unable to go and monitor the children during recess because of the dangerous situation, even though the school was far removed from a lot of the hubbub.
What was it like, the way you were able to relate to the students there?
Well, it was wonderful to see that the students really were very much alike. There were a lot of low-income children from the particular neighborhood the school was located in, as well as those children who came by bus. And it was delightful to see the kind of partnerships that were formed and friendships that were formed across race in that school. So the first 2 years, it was very interesting. We had an administrator who did actually implement Southie is My Hometown as the school song. But there were a very nice small group of progressive teachers that banded together and worked hard to change the environment in that school.
So it happens in a school. David, what about your experience? I mean, Black teachers, I mean, you can take them for granted because they're teachers, they do the job, but what about you? Was there a critical influence in you that you can talk about?
Well, with my experience, I went through the MECO system, so I went to school in Concord, Massachusetts from first grade through basically graduation. And in Concord, there were great teachers, of course, but there was no Black teachers that I've ever had, and that was very unfortunate for me, especially in that time of growth and self-development. It's just, I realized that Black teachers would have been very important for me to kind of see where I could go. And I went to Boston College and still wasn't many Black teachers, but I do remember one Black teacher named Chauncey McGladdery, who was also my choir director, and he was very influential in me continuing with my choir and gaining the confidence to sing, because it was really the first time that I had really done something like that. And it really just showed me the importance of having a Black teacher and almost what my potential could be just from seeing him and seeing his example.
Sherry Brooks Roberts, what about you? I mean, do you think being an African American makes a difference? I mean, you're a professional, you know what you do a great job, but other than that, does your racial identity and your background help in some way?
And definitely. I believe that we all need to see images of ourselves being successful in other successful people. And that is something that I think has been the outcry of a lot of African Americans that, you know, when it comes to the Oscars, when it comes to TV, when it comes to lawyers, doctors, and all of that, I think that it is important for children of color to see themselves reflected in people who are successful.
David, I see you shaking your head on that. I mean, you did pretty well, even though you hardly saw any black teachers. But why is that so important to you? Why does that resonate?
I think that with black teachers and teaching black students, it's almost like there's an empathy bond where the teacher can say, I see myself in you, and I envision what you can be, and I can show you what you can be in the way that I teach the curriculum. And it's very important, and though I may not have grown up with that example, of course I had people within my community that I could emulate and also see my potential. And I think that especially if you're a black student who goes to a predominantly white school, you know, and basically outside of your neighborhood, you really can lose yourself in the transition. And some people never really recover from that. I was just one of the lucky ones, and I was able to basically forge on, even if I didn't have necessarily a positive self-image and what I was surrounded by on a daily basis.
Sherry Brooks-Roberts, how do you feel about this event, the way it puts the teachers together as a group and say, look, pay attention to this?
Well, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful idea. And when you think about the fact that teachers, we do basically the parenting job and the education job and the nurturer and the supporter for a good part of the day, the waking hours of our children. I think that it is definitely a wonderful thank you to teachers who are, I believe, underpaid and a lot of times just taken for granted.
David, we should make sure we give a few more details about when and where this is going to be happening.
Yes, it will be February 24th at Boston City Hall in the Curly Room. It will be from 5 to 7, but doors will open at 4:15 so that people can kind of come in and settle down and get a good seat, and that we can start right at 5 o'clock. And there will be spoken word, there will be dancing, there will be a lot of great speakers. Horace Small of the Union of Minority Neighborhoods, the executive director, will be emceeing the night. So if you know Horace, you know that it's going to be a very lively time. And really, this time is really not for either Union of Minority Neighborhoods or for the Boston City Council. This is for the teachers who, again, who have been undervalued and underpaid, and we just want to respect those people, because where would we be without teachers?
Thank you both very much, David Corby.
Thank you.
And Sherry Brooks-Roberts.
Thank you.